For my Hunter x Hunter fans and Hunter x Hunter fans only, please step to the front, because we gotta talk. The man behind me, Beyond Netero, has been the topic of conversation in many Hunter x Hunter threads across the internet. But what I haven't seen anyone talk about is what is Beyond Netero's Nen Affinity. Not his Nen ability. I feel like guessing his ability, like there's too many things that you could guess. But his Nen Affinity. And even then, I feel like you're asking a lot trying to guess this man's affinity, because it could be anything. And I know specialist is probably what a lot of us would guess. I mean, it feels the most natural for Beyond to be a specialist, but I think it'd be interesting to kind of entertain the other options. And I wanted to use Hisoka's Nen personality test to see if we could figure this out. Yes, I know his personality test is not accurate. He even says it's about as accurate as trying to figure out someone's zodiac sign through their blood type. Like, you're probably going to be wrong more times often than not. But I wanted to humor it for the process of making this video. I mean, because we have nothing else to go off of, so I figure why not just entertain Hisoka's personality test. So enhancers like my boy Gon here, they don't lie, they put everything on the table, they're very straightforward, and the things that they do are typically dictated by their feelings. They also tend to be very selfish and goal-oriented. Can we completely rule Beyond out of enhancement based on these statements? I don't think so. While Beyond hasn't been 100% truthful in his dealings behind the scenes and his reasonings for wanting to go to the Dark Continent, he hasn't exactly been lying to anyone either. Like, I'm very certain he's been extremely truthful with his group about why he's going to the Dark Continent, about the steps that he's taking in order to reach the Dark Continent. So, selective truths here and there. But he is very determined to reach the Dark Continent. He's going to reach the Dark Continent by any means necessary. We've already been seeing some of the steps he's been taking. I'll go into some of the steps a little later. But for now, I don't think we can completely rule Beyond Netero out of enhancement. Transmuters, on the other hand, prone to deceit, prone to putting on facades. They rarely show their full hand. They're weirdos, they're tricksters, they have unique attitudes. And based on some of the things we've seen Beyond do up until this point, he could fit more into the transmuter category than an enhancer category. While I do feel like he has been truthful in some of the things that he's been telling the Zodiacs, I do feel like he's been doing a lot more lying than he has been telling the truth. Not only has he been hiding things from the Zodiacs, I mean, he has a mole in the Zodiacs. He's also been lying to the king. He hasn't told him about the plans to hide his own children within the succession war. And that alone should tell you the type of time that Beyond Netero is on. And of course, we don't know his true intentions behind going to the Dark Continent. We don't know if it's for the benefit of all humanity. We don't know if it's just for him. Could be for any number of reasons. But I feel like based on, again, some of the things we've seen, he fits better into the transmuter category than he does into an enhancer category. Now, if there's any category that would rule Beyond Netero out of, it would probably be emitters. Emitters are impatient, impulsive, not detail-oriented, hot-blooded, quick to act in a volatile manner, and none of these things really match Beyond Netero at all. I think this one panel is all I would need to debunk the whole Beyond being an emitter thing if we were using Hisoka's Nen personality test as fact. Again, we're just humoring the personality test here. But literally says he will wait as long as it takes. This is the same man who spent years having children and placing curses on said children in order to place them in the succession war so that they can take out the princes in said succession war. The Zodiacs have him in custody. He's willing to sit behind bars and wait for his opportunity to strike. I wouldn't call this an impatient or impulsive man by any stretch of the imagination. He spent time collecting the specific members that he would need in order to survive the Dark Continent. This is a man who thinks before he leaps. So yeah, just based off the Nen personality test, not an emitter. Not an emitter at all. Conjurers are very stoic, very high-strung, very on guard, very cautious. They are very logical, they are very observant, and they do not fall into traps. Now, I think there are some bits and pieces that we can place Beyond into in order to make him fit into the conjurer category, but what I think is even more important than a description of the people that are conjurers is the description of their abilities. And that's they typically come up with abilities that help them reach certain goals. For example, Kurapika's ability is designed to capture and defeat the Phantom Troop. And I know we're not talking about abilities right now, but I think it's possible that Beyond could be a conjurer because I feel like he is the type of person who would come up with an ability that would allow him to survive the harsh environments of the Dark Continent. So I guess he wouldn't exactly fit into the conjurer category. I mean, it's kind of up in the air if we're comparing this to something like enhancers, but I don't know. But just off the personality test, I don't think he'd be a conjurer. Now, manipulators are very logical, they advance at their own pace, they tend to not listen to others when it comes to them achieving their own goals, and they're very argumentative. They also tend to want to keep their friends and loved ones safe, but let's be honest, you clearly don't care about your friend's life if you're sending them to the Dark Continent. I think Beyond could fit into this one as well. Beyond, very logical person. Again, I don't think you come up with the plans that he does if you're not a very logical person. His goals for going to the Dark Continent and even his plans for the Succession War are going to happen no matter what anyone has to do or say about it. I think the only way anyone's going to stop him is if they can somehow find out what the man is thinking. And Beyond is clearly keeping all of his thoughts to himself on the matters of the Dark Continent as well as the Succession War. And of course, advancing at his own pace. I mean, the panel says it all. So yeah, I do feel like he could fit into the manipulator category. I don't think he's the type to use manipulator type abilities though. I just don't think that fits with his whole character. Maybe that's just me, but he doesn't feel like a manipulator to me. Manipulator in the way he kind of puppeteers the situation, but not a manipulator in his abilities. He feels way more like a straightforward type of guy to me. I don't know. And of course, specialists, they're very much the individual, they're very charismatic, they don't talk about themselves, and they tend not to be close to people, but because of their personalities, they tend to draw people to them. How the fourth prince draws anyone close to him, I will never know. That's clearly out of my smooth brain thought process and ability. I know that backstory with the fourth prince is going to be mint. It's going to be fire. But just based off the people that Beyond was able to recruit for his trip to the Dark Continent, as well as what we've seen as far as his thoughts and actions, yeah, I feel like it would be pretty easy to put him into the specialist category. I just feel like that would just be too easy. But, you know, maybe that's just me. But yeah, what do y'all think? I know this is all based on something that isn't entirely accurate, but I feel like it would have been, nice to speculate on some things, especially because we're not getting Hunter x Hunter for a little while. So yeah, let me know what you think.